In April 2014, WingNut Wings surprised many by releasing a previously unannounced kit of a Roland C.IIa wallfish. Now, of course, there can only be one thing better than releasing a kit of a wallfish, and that is to release two kits of a wallfish, because what they actually have produced is the early and late versions. Now, admittedly, 90% of the sprues are exactly the same, but they have covered all the little subtle details, like completely new lower wing sections. The instructions are all you have come to expect from a WingNut Wings kit, using a mixture of 3D generated graphics, period photographs, modern colour photographs, all anointed with paint guides from most popular paint brands. These really are the pinnacle of instructions. In fact, on certain auction sites I have seen these selling for as much as many kits would sell for. This is a page from the early Wallfish kit, and it shows some of the details specific to this variant, including the Lewis mounted gun, which was a temporary mount before the introduction of the Spandau on the top wing, and the rather unusual fishy shaped anemometer. That is actually included in the kit and certainly makes a very different looking model. And this is the aircraft that has that fishy anemometer. Now, you actually get a number of photographs showing this aircraft over a period of time, nearly a year, and there are a lot of changes. These are all carefully noted, so you can actually choose which version you want to produce. The early version features mostly plain colour schemes, predominantly the light blue, but you also have this rather attractive upper camouflage and overall doped linen version. These early versions weren't exactly colourful, but again here you have some that are quite interesting, light blue with black bars and black dots. Certainly attractive schemes, maybe not as nice as the Fokkers and albatrosses, but certainly it'll make it stand out. Now I've moved on to the late mark instruction book. One nice thing about this kit is you get an extra sprue, which includes cameras, step ladders, first aid kit, a little teddy bear and a pigeon carrier. It's a nice little optional extra which I'm sure many people will appreciate. In the late model kit, all of the options are camouflaged in a brown, light green and dark green camouflage pattern over a light blue surface. Every aircraft comes with some individual markings. Option A here also has a nice shark's mouth, and this one comes with decals for the curtains in the windows. Option D on the right here is one of the most famously photographed albatrosses, complete with the birdcage on the gun, window boxes and very large extravagant curtains. I hope some aftermarket manufacturer is going to be looking at producing these for this particular mark. My favourite of the 5 options in the kit, and the one I'll be producing, is this one, mainly because of the Maltese cross on the spine, something a little bit unusual, reminiscent of the Fokker Eindecker. That happened quite a lot, but I have never seen it on a wallfish before, and there's a very nice diorama possibility if you wish to produce the aircraft, as can be seen in the right hand photograph. I'm now going to look at the wings. This is the main sprue that's different between the two kits. This one is the early model, you can tell because it's got the late Lewis gun up in the top left hand corner, and it has slightly different lower wing sections. They really have, you don't really notice it until you put the two wing halves together, but the ailerons are different, the width is different, the chord is different. It's a really nicely produced sprue. Here I've zoomed in on that Lewis gun. As you can see, the temporary mounting is there. When you see the photographs, there's lots of bungee cords holding this in place, so they're going to be quite interesting for the modeller to reproduce in scale form. And here we have the late mark wings. As you can see, the sprues are completely different. You have a lot more parts in the late mark sprue, including alternative Spandaus down at the bottom. We'll have a zoom in on those. So here are the Spandaus. As can be seen, two different styles. One, the simple version to the right, which has the plastic jacket moulded in place. For the advanced, more advanced modeller on the left, you have one without the jacket. This will come from the etched brass parts, or alternatively you could use the excellent Master Models pre-moulded jackets, which will be the option I'll be going for. And here are those preformed jackets. I'm used to this at Rolling Brass. It always comes out the wrong shape, even if they give you a mould, as WingNuts do. So these are a virtual necessity for me. Very inexpensive. I think this set costs about £5 here in the UK. Now here is a sprue we've seen many times before, the standard WingNut Wings Mercedes engine. Note you have 4 alternative prop blades on this sprue. You'll actually only be using 2 of them depending on which variant you're producing. And this is the generic giveaway sprue, as I'm going to call it, which includes cameras, step ladders, a number of aerials, and somewhere in there is the teddy bear. This was first seen on the Rumpler kits, and it's a nice little throw-in addition. Makes producing dioramas a lot easier if you have all these little extras. Here we have the main fuselage sprue. Now the inside of the fuselage sprue features the wood frame construction. These weren't natural wood internally, they were painted, but it's very nice to see this. There are a number of photographs of rollfishes being constructed on the production line, and with this model you could actually reproduce that. There's a lot of flashed over holes. That's one of the few areas I've got that's a bit vague with this kit. I've already noted that there are some errors in the instructions, and we'll flip this sprue over and have a look. Now the flashed over holes are for these vent grills on the outside. There are a number of different patterns depending on which particular aircraft you're reproducing. Now the instructions are a little bit vague. You really need to pay attention when you're removing these details and then adding more panels from the sprue. I already made a mistake and had to do a little filling job on my wallfish. This is the busiest of the sprue and provides that very complete interior with all the framework internally. So far I'm building one of these and it has been an absolute dream to put together. It does look a bit daunting, but it all just clicks into place. We'll feature some of my construction photographs from my one at the end of this video. This sprue only features in the late model and includes a slightly different cockpit floor interior, the larger tail. Both kits come with 3 types of exhaust system. These 2 are pretty plain and will need drilling out. We'll have a look at the Ocarina exhaust a little bit later in the video. These sprues are duplicated, so you get 2 of both of these. You've got the windows for the side of the fuselages, other clear parts, and the sprue that contains the wheels and the struts, or rather the very large strut. This is one of the things that makes the Wallfish such a beautiful kit. For a novice biplane builder, this should be a simple one to put together. Both upper and lower wings run through the fuselage, and you have this very large strut which holds everything in place. So no tricky fiddling with struts, hopefully. Really, it's going to be the rigging that's going to be the only difficult part on this kit for a newbie modeller. And this is another sprue that we've seen before. This features more guns in both basic and advanced forms. So basic with the moulded jackets, advanced form we're going to be adding the etched brass jackets, and there is a little, as can be seen here down the left hand side, that is a little former to actually help you fold the barrels up into the perfect circular shape. Of course you can always use the master ones. Decals, of course, printed in Italy by Cartograph. Wow, is all I can say. The detail on these is just phenomenal. I will try and get up as close as I can with magnification so we can see some of that detail. Let's just bring the sheet in towards the camera. I'm hoping the autofocus will pick this up if I don't do it too hard. Here we have the rigging instructions for the real plane. These were displayed on the side of the fuselage. Propeller details look absolutely amazing. Up at the top, yep, we have the curtains. They are actually included on the decal sheet. Not quite sure how you'd want to apply these. They should be on the inside of the canopy, the clear parts rather, so how I put that in. That is an absolutely stunning sheet of decals. That would be worth £15 if you were selling it separately, I'm sure. And here we have the etched brass set. Again, includes the 2 seat belts for both the pilot and the observer, and the jackets for the Parabellum and Spandau machine guns. Here we have the decal sheet from the early version, and no less detailed than its older brother really. Again, the quality is just stunning, absolutely stunning. The early version also includes this little extra sheet. Obviously they just ran out of room, so they had to do a little add-on sheet to include these 4 Maltese crosses of the very early style. Now the Wolfish was the first successful biplane I ever built. That was probably in the late 70s with an Airfix Dogfight double. So quite a bit of difference in quality between that and this kit. As soon as the kit came available, I actually purchased a copy. So I've got a little bit ahead of construction here because I was using my own model. Here we see the engine. Now this is built... Unfortunately it doesn't really show up in the photographs, but I have actually fully wired the engine. It's a very simple project to do because WingNuts have actually provided little holes just marked on the plastic parts, which you can drill out very easily. Say black on black doesn't really show up, but it does show up when you look at this model by the eye. So about the wobbly photograph here, my hands aren't that steady, I need a whiskey. As you can see, I hope you could pick up some of that wiring that I described earlier. It does absolutely really lift the model endpoint up, but it looks wonderful. Here's the only framework part that I've assembled so far, which is the front engine bearers. Fit is extremely positive. It'd be hard actually to make a mistake with this, unlike some of the earlier kits. Now, as we saw earlier, there are a number of exhaust options in this kit. This is the one that impressed me the most. This actually shows an improvement in WingNut wings moulding capabilities, something I would have thought was practically impossible. This is the Ocarina exhaust on the Lake Mark, and the top of the exhaust is hollow. And I mean completely hollow. It's moulded in 2 parts. You have a lower section and an upper section, and the top section includes a completely hollow exhaust pipe. It looks absolutely amazing. I couldn't drill that out as good as this looks. Something you do have to do with the other exhaust options, but I'm sorry, I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. Here we have the pilot's and the navigator's seat. These are both supplied in 2 parts, and that enables you to have this really good amount of level of detail moulded onto the rear surfaces. Again, paint brown wash will look perfect when combined with those seat belts. So there we have it. That's the end of my first look at the WingNut Wings Rolands. So impressive models, as WingNut Wings always are. Actually, I can see an improvement in moulding, as I really thought that was hard to do, but these kits are easily the best moulded WingNut kit I've seen, and probably also one of the easiest to assemble. There'll be a build in a future issue of Sammy where we can actually have a look and see how that goes. Now, a little bit of a rant now. WingNut Wings are available from WingNut Wings' own website. You really must visit this site. It is an amazing resource. You have many more photographs, hints, tips. Even to the casual World War I builder who's got no interest in WingNut Wings, you should be having a look at the website. For ordering, you can order securely online using credit cards or PayPal, and delivery is normally about a week to 10 days to the UK from New Zealand. Postage is free, but you will have to pay in the import charges. Normally on these kits that relates to about £12. Obviously in other countries we don't have that VAT extra, so you don't have that disadvantage. In the UK, there are a number of hobby shops who are buying in WingNut Wings kits. Now, they are selling them at a greatly inflated price to allow for VAT, customs and a profit margin. I just cannot understand why modelers would actually buy at the moment from them rather than from the manufacturer, as they offer the free postage. Yes, you get the instant quick fix gratification, but realistically, you are paying a bit more money for it, and I think we should be supporting WingNut Wings directly. Rant over. Hope you've enjoyed the video.